Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FutureDDS Dental School Experience Series, where we help you decide which dental school is right for you. Now, every school is unique and will provide you with a different experience. And we thought who better to explain to you what a school has to offer than a student who actually goes there. Our goal in this series is to give you a firsthand perspective of every dental program in America and ultimately help you make the right decision. So today we'll be showcasing Abdullah Al-Karaguli, who is a D2 at the University of Buffalo School of Dental Medicine. How are you doing today, Abdullah?
Good. How you doing? I mean, I just met you like last weekend.
Funny story. Me and Abdullah actually met at the ADIA conference in Chicago literally a week ago. And now here we are on this interview series, So
that was a fun time. It was like sitting there, like, oh, FutureDDS. I know these things.
It's crazy. It's crazy how that happens, just like going to these different conferences and like really meeting the people that, you might see on the internet or on Instagram, whatever it may be. It's always an interesting situation. But everybody, if you are going to dental school or in dental school, make sure you go to these conferences because you're able to have great networking experiences. And, everybody who's there typically is really in love with the profession. So it's always great people or great interactions whenever you go to these type of things.
The atmosphere is unbelievable too.
It is. Have you been to NLC?
I have not been to NLC yet. I've done, this is the first time I go national in terms of events. Okay. I'm very busy in my local chapters. And again, like the way I reach out to the national audience is via social media.
Okay.
But this time I wanted to go and check it out. But I think I should just introduce myself first.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get it started. So like you said, if you can, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you went to undergrad, and why you became interested in dentistry.
So my name is Abdullah Al-Karaguli, or Abdullah Al-Karaguli in Arabic, and I was born in Iraq, Baghdad. Lived a little bit in Jordan, then moved to Egypt for 6-7 years, and moved to the United States back when I was 16. I was not necessarily interested in dentistry in terms of because my family were very medicine oriented. So I was pre-med. I actually was an art major for the first semester. My parents did not know about that, but I was trying to go to medical school. I did a lot of clinical hours and I just didn't like it. Dentistry was always in the back of my mind, but I don't know why I never thought about it as a career. But then my best friend, he was in love with dentistry. Like he would talk about it for hours and I was like, okay, what's the hype is all about? And I started researching it. Unfortunately, dentistry is very mysterious. Yeah. There's not a lot of information about it. This new wave of social media where we're showing you what dentistry is like. This didn't exist 2 years ago.
It did not.
So even the pre-dental threads online, they're very small. There's no questions to be asked. I made huge mistakes on my application. I went straight from undergrad, so I didn't take time off. So like when I was applying, there was a lot of questions. I didn't know what was going on. So when I got into dental school, I was like, I gotta make these things. I don't want people to make the same mistakes. So I went to Syracuse University for undergrad. I eventually settled for a Bachelor of Sciences in Psychology and a biology minor. I want to study the social science aspect because that's what I'm interested in. I did a lot of work in branding and marketing for different things that are not really healthcare related. And I worked as a medical interpreter too. So I was really exposed to the medical field in general. Took my DAT. I applied to a few schools. Eventually, I only sent the supplemental to really Buffalo because I knew that's the only school I wanted to. Right. So one school, one interview, and just Buffalo because there's a lot of reasons that we'll talk about later of why I chose this school in particular. And the reason, as I said, is I chose dentistry. It is a generic answer, but it's the right answer. It's artistic, it's scientific, it's human oriented. It's so much like a human oriented. When I first chatted my first dentist, he had a patient and he was telling me, this is the grandchild of a patient that I've had. So it's not only, so the mom came in and she got married and then she had her kid and her kid was coming to the practice and now their grandchild is coming to the practice. And for me, that was just beautiful.
Right.
The dentist here is a part of the family. Like if you have a dental home, it's like your second home. Your dentist, they know a lot about you. You know a lot about them. And that really touched me. And I was like, that is something that I really want to do. And the dentistry part, as I said, there's not a lot to know about it. And I discovered that I love it even more as I go through dental school, actually. Because you don't know what drilling a crown is. You don't know what amalgam is.
You don't know anything about it, man. You don't know anything about it when you apply, you know?
Yeah. You just know that you want to be a dentist, but how do you become a dentist, and what does a dentist do? It's a different culture, different language. It's so like, that's why we're trying, like, what I'm working on and what I see you guys working on is we're trying to give you that firsthand exposure before it happens. What is dentistry? And breaking down that mystery, the mysterious field of dentistry. And that's actually very huge. I wish I've had it, and that's why we're trying to make it work.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. Another thing that you have brought up that I really want to bring attention to, the fact that you said you applied to all these different schools, but you only sent the supplemental application to one. I think a lot of the times people have this crazy notion that they should be applying to like 20 different schools. And that's just not right. You know, it's just not correct. You will waste so much money. Because I actually did the same thing. I think I applied to I want to say 18 or 19 schools. And I literally sent my supplemental application to maybe 5 of them. And it was ridiculous the amount of money that I wasted. You know, if you know what schools you want to go to, focus on those schools. Make sure you have relationships within those schools so that you can, you know, kind of figure out how what they're looking for in the applicant or whatever it may be. But you do not waste your money.
Absolutely. That's huge. 20 schools. There are certain schools that you're going to apply to. There's no way you're going to go to.
Exactly. There's no way. You know, I think that people just get a little bit nervous and think that they won't get in somewhere, and therefore they kind of need to spread their net, you know, all over the place. But it's just not the case.
And there's nothing wrong with taking time off. Actually, sometimes the wisest thing you can do is taking time off. And as I said, a lot of schools, the class average is like 25, 26, 24. They're not people. I'm one of the few young people in our class. I think I'm in the bottom 10 youngest in my class. Our class average is like 25 years old. So when I was 22 and I went in straight after, I thought a lot of people are going to be like me, but I was wrong. They look for life experiences. And to be quite honest, those people that attain jobs and they had a real life experience and went back to dental school, they're doing very well because they know how to wake up early. They know how to manage their time. While you're just a college student that's just, you know, you did well in undergrad, but you kind of had your own schedule.
Right.
In dental school, they make your schedule for you, or at least that's for our program.
Same.
So like, it was like, you see those people that had a job and he wakes up at 8 a.m. every morning to 5, and they're like, you're like a god in efficiency while I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like, you know what I mean?
It's that discipline, bro. It's the discipline. And like you said, honestly, at Tufts, I think our last entering class, we're a class around 210. I want to say more than 50% had went and obtained their masters. So literally, I had the same. I thought that people were going to be, you know, coming straight out. I thought there were going to be a bunch of 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds. I think my class average is like, we started at like 25, 26, you know? So everybody, you do not have to go straight through. Granted, if I could go back in time, I think I might have, just so I could graduate and be a dentist at the age of 25. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like, I'm sure you will, but
yeah, but like, I mean, but looking at it projectively, you don't waste your time taking a master's. You get to learn a lot of these experiences. So really, that's why when I applied to dental school, I knew I was kind of young, and I didn't care if I took a year off. That's why I was like, I applied to like 5 or 6 schools. And I sent supplemental to just Buffalo because I was like, worst case scenario, I don't get in, I'll just apply again next year. Right. And the money that I will be saving, because the tuition is much lower at Buffalo, I'll just buy myself a Maserati and like, like I'll literally just go spend it on me. Why am I going to spend it to another school that's more expensive, further away, and I know nothing about? So that's why really, that's a huge part. Like I saw a lot of disappointed students, like I didn't get in from the first cycle. And I'm like,
it does not matter.
It's like, you're fine. They probably just looked at your application and you're like, you could improve a little bit more, and you have the time to do so. So might as well.
Right. And I mean, if you say you do go to the master's, you're going to be exposed to these higher level courses, because undergrad and dental school are not alike. They are not alike. That coursework is completely different. Hopefully the master's program that you do go to, you know, kind of expose you to a higher level of the science course. So you'll be a little bit more prepared when you come straight in, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like I mean, as I said, I was a psychology major, I was social sciences major, and I did all the prerequisites, and I did very good grade wise. But coming in here and you're like, okay, I'm in the top of my class from undergrad, but everyone around you is on the top of their class in
Exactly.
undergrad.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is also another punch to the face because I mean, like even though I'm doing great, but initially the first semester, that initial part, I was like, I'm smart. I don't need to study as much. You know what I mean? Like I did this in undergrad. I'm meant to do this, and then you get your first, like you fail your first quiz, and you're like, wait, did I just fail a quiz? And, like you get your first C on an exam, or even fail. Like I remember I got we have like a system where you get an N, meaning you lose 30 points on a practical. So like basically if you make one large mistake, I didn't think it was that large. And my first practical in dental school, it was the only one, and I received an N on.
Yeah.
I remember I ended up with a 73 on that first practical. And that was like, it was a huge hit to my ego. I was like, I am very good at this. I'm meant to do this. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, they're not joking around.
Yo, humbling experience.
Yeah, it is very, like that's the word. Me and Peter, my friend, we were talking about this. It's like I was very humbled on the first rounds of exam in dental school. And like our graduating classes, like our graduation rate is 95 to 98%. Mm-hmm. We're 93 students. That means less than one student don't make it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which means like the school, once they accept you, they invest everything they have in you. And I see that investment. They're not here to weed you out. Right. Unlike undergrad, you have those gross, like organic chemistry courses and biochemistry. We call it the weed out courses because they want to remove the bulk of those pre-med and pre-dentals out of the way. So that's one of the surprising aspects of dental school. You know what I mean? Because everyone is a genius.
Yeah, and it definitely will hit you in the face because I think it happens to everybody, honestly. It definitely happens to everybody. But let's get back to your school, Buffalo. I've never been to Buffalo. I don't think a lot of people have been to Buffalo. So can you kind of tell us like about the city, where your school is within the city and just kind of what the area around it's kind of like?
Yeah. So we're very famous for our buffalo sauce. Mm-hmm. We're very famous for our chicken wings. Okay. So everyone knows Buffalo. It's a great area. One of the main reasons I chose Buffalo is because it's a medium-sized city. Mm-hmm. I looked at those big cities, and for me, one of the biggest pluses that Buffalo has, no traffic. Cost of living is cheap, like really, really cheap. Like I live in a fully remodeled apartment, and I pay a fraction of any price that anyone that lives in a main city. And that, for me, cost in dentistry is huge. You got to look at the cost. You got to be smart about that stuff, like debt management. So like Buffalo, medium-sized city, no traffic. Yes, it's snow, it's cold, but they're so efficient at cleaning the snow and making sure everything, like you're never going to be late to work because of a snowstorm. And if it's really bad, you're going to get a snow day. You know what I mean? Like it's a great day. So like we only had, like, for example, this year we only had 2 snow days, but it wasn't because of the snow. It was just because it was so cold. They should just stay at home. The area is kind of urban-ish. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I won't say skyscraper. It's like, it's a nice, you have the suburbs. I currently live on the suburbs of Buffalo. So I live kind of far from the school, meaning I only have to drive 12 minutes. Mm-hmm. Parking in Buffalo is also a plus. Parking is free too. So like you just get to park your car. There's so much parking spots. Yeah. I know people like are looking into like the big why you chose Buffalo, but this is huge. Parking. You just got to park your car and go to class. That's amazing.
Very true. Very true.
So that was a huge plus. And also the area, it's underserved. Mm-hmm. So the Buffalo's message is community, community, community. And they truly will look into that. I think one of the main reasons they accepted me, even though like I had a very good application, it was my community service. Because Buffalo looks into community service more than anything else. How did you, and are you genuine in your community service? They're very intelligent individuals in figuring out who's phony and who's really talking about community service, and they look into it significantly. So we have an underserved population of people in the city of Buffalo. It's not one of the richest cities. The suburbs are doing great, but the city itself, so like you'll be doing a lot of help. You'll be reaching out to people that need it, refugee population, people with lower socioeconomic statuses. And the other part is there's an abundance of patients. We don't have to hunt down for patients. We usually have, we do accept like all sort of insurances, Medicaid, and we're much cheaper than going to than patients going to private practice. So we do get enough cases and we do have a lot of patients. So as a city itself, now you're talking about, like, let's talk about what could you do in your leisure time.
Mhm.
Um, One, there's a lot of winter activities like skiing, snowboarding, which people forget about that they're extremely fun. You got Toronto about 2 hours away, which
Mhm.
if you want to go to a big city over the weekend, you can.
Right.
And you got New York is gorgeous in spring and the fall and the summer in terms of nature because
Mhm.
all that snow turns into green and colors. So you got Niagara Falls, you can go hiking, you can just see that beautiful scenery. It is a winter wonderland, but at the same time, once summer hits, you don't want to leave New York because it's the perfect temperature, it's the perfect nature, and you love it here. So there's a lot of activities that you can do in the city itself. But these are probably the key main ones. No traffic, there is a big city nearby, there's a lot of nature, and it is it's homey, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely. And so, talking about your actual class, what's your class size kind of like?
So that's also one big reason why I chose Buffalo. Our class size is 92. We're a
Okay.
medium sized class.
Yeah.
Um, there are classes with, like, I wanted a medium sized class so you get to know enough people. But at the same time, with a smaller class, you just get to know too much of people.
Yeah.
Really,
Definitely.
everyone becomes more invested in everyone's life.
Right.
Why at the same time we're not too large, we'll never meet anyone. I know every person, and I know a little bit of personal experience of them. So 92 students were, our class is split 50% women, firstly 50% men. Um, Very diverse. Like, I have a lot of pictures. Diversity is key in our classes because they aim, not because they want to choose just a diverse class, but when you're graduating from Buffalo, they want you to have that direct exposure of different cultures and experiences. Makes you a better dentist
Right.
and a better
Definitely.
human being. So if you want to learn about Middle Eastern culture, for example, it's better off to learn it from a student and your friend, and then dealing with a Middle Eastern patient, then just try to figure out with your patient, and you might offend them, you might say something like that, because that's the direct exposure. You don't know everything,
Right.
and you're ignorant of certain things. So the diversity in the class and the workforce is crucial for you to become a better human being and a better dentist, 100%.
Definitely.
So that's basically the initial gist of our class. Diverse, gender is also diverse in gender wise, and medium-sized class.
And so you had mentioned earlier, you said, you have all of these different reasons of why you actually chose Buffalo as your school. And so I
Yeah,
kind of want to go into that a little bit. Can you kind of list some of those reasons? Like, granted, you talked about your class size, you talked about the no
yeah,
parking, but what are
yeah.
some other things that really just attracted you to Buffalo?
Number one thing, cost.
Hmm.
We're not afraid to talk money. Like, when I mentioned to the School of Dental Medicine, they were like, uh, they did talk to me about cost. They were like, dental school cost a lot, and I was like,
Wow.
for somebody that went through immigration and we lost a lot of money through the war in Iraq, I understand that debt will never make me unethical. And the problem is, when you're bound by huge levels of debt, I don't question dental students' future ethic, work ethic, but if you have a lot of debt, you just don't know how you're going to react. Like,
Right,
you got to pay the bills. So cost was the number one um reason to decide on the University of Buffalo. Of course, in-state tuition is cheaper, but out-of-state is more expensive the first year, but you can switch to be in-state the second year, and that's an easy process. So it still ends up being much cheaper than going to other schools.
right,
Like, just in New York, there. I don't want to, like, name, like, NYU. You got Toro. They're quite expensive.
yeah,
And when I looked at it, I was like, I'm going to be almost $500,000 in debt. That was a deterrent. So I knew that I would rather take a year off and save that money than apply to a more expensive school. And then the second one was they're very research and heavily research oriented.
hmm
Like, School of Dental Medicine was actually voted number 11 worldwide in research. And that's something that people don't know about Buffalo. Everyone is welcome to do research. We heavily support research, and a lot of these opportunities are paid. You can stay in the summer, make a couple $1,000s, and just do your own research. You literally can make your own research in dentistry, whether it's how to deal with patients or just that. As I said, diversity in classes. I grew up in multiple places in the world.
hmm
I don't want just one type of experiences. You're surrounded by geniuses, brilliant people. but they also bring in different life experiences. You know what I mean? Like some of my best friends are from this area of the world. Some of my best friends grew up in this area of the world. You learn a lot from your classmates. So your classmates are a huge portion. Like you choose the school and you choose the classmates. So you got to look at what type of people they usually accept.
Right.
And Buffalo, they usually accept nice people. They're not afraid to say, we like nice people.
Right.
Yeah, you could have a 4.0, but you're not nice. Unfortunately, you're not going to be. We don't believe in you as a dentist in the future just because you have that. It's a big hurdle for you to overcome, is to become a nicer person in general. And so the culture in Buffalo, as I said, the culture in Buffalo of community service and helping out is something that I've done at a younger age because of my past as in immigration and traveling around the world. So it's something that I truly believed in. And when I saw that the school, and you know, some schools advertise it, but do they actually do it? Here,
it gets rough sometimes.
Yeah,
it gets rough sometimes.
So you got, like, our schools do all these ramp trips. They do all these outreach programs. And, you know, now after 2 years, I'm waiting for this, like, you know, the pitch. I was like, okay, did they just say it to sell the school? But no, they actually do it. Like, you do go on these trips. You do help out a lot of people. So the culture of community service is huge at Buffalo. And that just, like, everything kind of sits well with me. And then I mentioned, like, of course, the size of the city is huge. Like, I love big cities, but I like to visit big cities. I don't like to live in them.
It can become hectic at some times. I mean, I'm here in Boston, and it's always go, go, go. So
yeah, like traffic, I can't stay in traffic for more than 3 minutes.
You can't have your car up here.
Exactly. Oh,
you cannot. Yeah, you can't.
Free parking. We have so much freedom to park. You can park anywhere you want. You know what I mean? Like, people don't know that this is a huge positive, but it is a huge positive.
It is.
Because you got all that freedom. You want to go somewhere on the weekend and you have a car, you can. You want to go to Toronto on a Friday and come back on Sunday, you can do that because you just got to pick up your car and leave. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for me, that was huge. Why would I go to New York City and, like, I'm going to have to take the metro or the subway everywhere? Well, I like my car. I like driving. You know what I mean?
Right. No, that makes sense, man. That definitely makes sense. It's funny that I actually want to, like, comment on something that you said earlier. Yeah. I want people to recognize that the fact that your school will do the in-state tuition switch, a lot of schools don't do that, you know? Like, that's extremely special, and that can definitely save you a lot of money. So everybody who's considering any type of school, you know, definitely look into that to see if you might be from out of state, but after that first year, if you are eligible to switch into an in-state student, because that's huge. You know, money is a extremely hot topic, man. And I think you were very, very strategic in the fact that you said, you know what, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for a year because I will be saving more money by doing this and applying to Buffalo than me going to a super extremely expensive school, which a lot of people just are so anxious that they're just like, you know what, whatever. Wherever I go in, wherever I get in, I'm going. And it's not always the best way to look at things, you know? Yeah,
and it's your life. Exactly. I did not want to be like basically slaving my life away, my best years to pay off debt.
And to somebody else. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. And that is, for me, I'd rather, like, if I'm going to be in that much debt, is dentistry even right for me? You know what I mean? Like, that is the reason we cannot be afraid to talk about student debt. The moment we're afraid and just want to be accepted, then they're just going to keep increasing the prices. And you can't be politically correct. Oh, we don't want to hurt the school's feelings by saying you're too expensive. If the school is expensive, they need to know that they're expensive. Right. And that's why I like Buffalo too, because when you talk to them about these things, they say, we're trying our best to keep the cost to a minimum, even though with all these renovations. And they ask you these questions because they do want you to know that you're going to take a risk by taking this investment. I know we're in a very good, profitable field. Right. Like, dentists make a good amount of money. But I feel like everyone else knew that too. So they keep increasing how much they charge us for everything. Like, you know, how much they bill you for your like utensils, how much they bill you for your hand drills, your loops. They know we make money. But the problem is, at some point, we're going to reach the limit. And not our generation maybe, but soon enough, people are going to experience where dentistry is not even going to be profitable anymore.
Right. And it's so funny because you'll see, like, some professors, they'll say, you know, y'all are paying X amount of dollars. Wow, that's crazy. And I'm sure we'll be saying the same exact thing
to students
In
and
10 years,
inflation.
exactly, in 20 years. So it's definitely an interesting little situation that we're dealing with. But I mean, if you are able to avoid that, of course, with different options as well, scholarships, you can always go into the military, do things of that nature. But I
But at
think
the same time, I do believe we can't be too political. Like, we need to tackle that problem.
oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Have
because
you
I do believe it's getting easier and easier to charge more dental students. You know what I mean?
have you thought
And
about lobbying?
lobbying, see, like, maybe I'll start doing that more often. I try to do the outreaches, and I do have very good contact with the School of Dental Medicine, the deans. Like, they have an open door policy, so I do speak to all of them in terms of these things. So now they're pushing more towards that, and I am passionately will talk about debt, because we want to keep this profession ethical. And at some point, now you see dentists are doing different things out of their scope. Not necessarily because they're bad people, but you got to pay your bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have a family, you have debt. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? And you can't keep increasing the salary of dentists, because then you're going to plateau, and then they're going to try to find, like, the same thing with medicine. Now they have nurse practitioners, PAs, because you can't just, like, afford doctors. And now we have the dental therapist coming out.
Yep.
A huge topic of debate. Usually, logically, emotionally, you should be with it, because it's going to help out the underserved community. But when you look at it, this is going to create a huge issue for dentists that are trying to pay their debt, because now I would rather put that money that they're going to invest in the dental therapist and reduce the cost of dentistry and urge them to go somewhere else. Instead, you're going to create a new school where you're going to charge more students for dental therapy school, more debt. And I have in-debt dentists and probably in-debt dental therapists, and they're literally fighting each other for the
business. Yeah.
So when I look at it, it's not a matter of just, like, helping the community. Yeah, you want to help the community, but at the same time, the implications are much higher.
Yep.
And I know we're talking about Buffalo, but Buffalo is very strong on terms of, like, student debt. That's one of the main reasons I chose it. And I'm not ashamed to say it. And the school is definitely going to support me for saying that, is because Buffalo costs much cheaper. Like, when your in-state tuition costs less than $40,000 a year.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. You know,
it's beautiful.
And then you got the cost of living in Buffalo is much cheaper too. It's for me, it was a no-brainer. That's why I said I would rather take a year off than apply to a more expensive school.
Right.
And
like, for people who are in the situation, whatever reason it may be, say you have to go to NYU for whatever reason, or if you come to Tufts, whatever it may be, all I can really say is, if you are going to pay this high price, make sure you get everything out of the school that you can,
Yeah.
Go on these trips, go and really, really talk and meet these faculty, go to all the lunch learns, like, get your money's worth, because I see a lot of people paying a ridiculous amount of money and literally just not even showing up to class, literally just relaxing, sitting at their home, coming to class whenever they have to take a test, but, like, they're not taking advantage of any of the other services that the school provides, and I always think that's just such a waste, especially if you're paying all this money. You need to be able to extract as much positivity resources as possible. So, but definitely. So, it's kind of switching gears for a little bit.
I just want to just add that I am not trying to, like, say the other programs are not good. No, that the programs are prestigious. I'm talking just, like, in terms of debt alone. There are a lot of good dental schools. NYU is a great school, great class. Tufts, Boston, like, all the things, even though they come with a price, but they are prestigious schools.
Right.
And you will get your money's worth. Right now, even though it's expensive, you will still make profit as a dentist. But the only reason I'm fighting for it right now is because I don't want to reach that limit.
In the future. Right.
Yeah. Because I'm not worried about you. For example, you're going to Tufts, you're probably paying more than I am. But I do believe you'll make enough money in the future to support your family and have a very good life for yourself. Right. But your kids, if they want to pursue dentistry, they might not be able to.
That's very true, because the prices go up. I mean, I think holistically at every dental school, prices are going up. So, no, what you're saying definitely is making sense.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your interview day. A lot of people super anxious about what the interview experience will be like, what the interview process is like. Can you kind of walk us through what your interview day, how it actually went?
Yeah. So our interview date, it changes sometimes every year. But like generally, it's the same method because our school listens to the students. So every accepted class is like, what did you like about it? What did you not like about it? And admitted students day and interview days usually will change accordingly. So but the general consensus is that I will show up at 8. We will have breakfast. We'll have a couple of, speakers, like, admissions officers. And then I did answer a short essay question. I do want to double check if they still have it or not, but it was just a very, very simple question. It was like, I answered it with like 2 sentences. I still got in. So I assume you didn't need to. And then you do 2 interviews. One is open file and one is closed files. And they are an interview with just one interviewer. You don't get interviewed by 2 or 3 people at once. So the first one I had was an ethical question, and it asked me about debt. It was like basically, no, actually, sorry. We did talk about debt in the interview. It asked me about what do I think about sending dentists to rural areas. There are other questions they asked about, like homeopathic medicine. What do you think of homeopathic medicine? So it's more of an ethical question, and there's no right or wrong answers, of course, in these questions.
Right.
Support it and just be very confident with it, but don't be cocky about it. You know what I mean? Like always keep it like open-ended-ish. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the second interview was open file. So they asked me about me. So that's the part where you have to study your application very well. But both of them was very relaxed. You know what I mean? Like it was my only interview. I knew that was my only one shot. And I had a great time. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, it's one of those things. It's in the atmosphere. The lighting was good. The food was good. The people are smiling at you. You know what I mean? Nobody was judging you, or at least showing that they're judging you.
Right.
So you walked in and you're like, okay, this is a happy place. I want to be here. Especially the interviews are usually in better weather too. Like I had my interview. It was like a good day. So that's the gist of it. And then I applied late. So I wasn't waiting for the December 1st or now the December 3rd, I think, line. So I heard very quickly back from Buffalo, but the app, like, I don't know. It's for me, my interview experience was very mild or mellow. And I cannot talk about different interview experiences. As I said, I did not interview in other places. I can only speak of the one interview that I've had. And it was an interview, but I didn't feel like my life was on the line.
Right. It was relaxed.
It was relaxed.
Right. And I think that's also something people will love to hear, because I don't know where this rumor started, where they think that, these interviews are typically just, 10 faculty just staring at you in a room. Like it's typically not like that. But for some reason, people are always just so anxious and think that's what it's going to be, and
they're not interrogating you. They're just trying to get to know you, literally. So just be you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Kind, good person, good soul. You'll be fine. You know what I mean? Don't try to be someone else. That's when you start making mistakes.
And they will know. And that's what's funny that you said study your application. Like, don't write down anything that's untrue, because I promise you they will ask a question, and if you are unable to answer it, it's gonna look a certain type of way.
They ask in a different way too. The same question, just in a different way, and they're waiting for differences. If they feel like and as I said, you're not talking to just anyone. You're talking to deans of dental medicine. You're talking to specialists, people that have been in academia for decades. The moment you walked in, they already knew if you are good or not based on little things. And the moment you start talking, they can already formulate the question. So just be happy, be you, and just remind them that the energy you're going to bring to the school is good.
Exactly. And so you interviewed, obviously you got in. I kind of want to talk about that transition of, you going from the summer until actual dental school. Did you all have some type of orientation week, or did they kind of just like, hey, you're in dental school now, here's anatomy?
No, we had a honeymoon period. It was basically, you do have like if you're above 21, so you'll have nightlife. We have the school events in the morning, and then you have the student events at night, which the school does not put any interference. They usually supply a budget for, but they don't ask. Like, you know what I mean? Just make sure you show them the city, make sure they have a good time. Right. So the first few weeks in dental school was just a honeymoon phase. It was amazing. Everyone, the D4s are usually like always kind of like, oh, you guys have no idea what you're getting into.
Yeah, right, yeah.
The thing is, it's the same case with every dental school. Dental school is not supposed to be easy. It's challenging. But everyone that makes it into dental school, I have no doubt that they have the ability to make it out of dental school.
Definitely.
So our orientation week was like that. It was you know,
Okay.
a lot of nature and stuff.
Okay. And so I'm sure, as you know, really quickly, if everybody who doesn't know who you are, if you all have ever seen Dental Impressions,
Yeah.
this is him. Some people will be like, he looks familiar. And it's funny because, a lot of the times, and we even talked about this, like meeting people over the internet, you might not know who you're speaking with, but Abdullah is somebody who is very, very invested into providing information about dental schools and the dental school experience. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there really quickly. But no. So with regards to a day in the life, everybody loves to talk about day in the life. What's it like to be at this dental school? What's it like to be at that dental school? If you can you kind of give us a timeline of your day?
So I'll break it into like the 4 semesters that I've had so far. Okay. And I'm just going to be like a day in the life of the first semester, for example. Okay. First semester is didactic heavy. However, we do start drilling or prepping teeth at the first few weeks. We start using CAD cams from the first semester. So like the way we evaluate preps is basically you're going to drill a circle or an oval shape. It's a pass-fail course, the first one. It's just
the first one. Yeah, the first.
And then you're going to scan it, and then you're going to compare it to an ideal prep, and it'll give you a percentage. How far off were you? And I love that course because that's the first thing you're being a dentist. You know what I mean? You're going to be working, drilling. But it's didactics heavy, so we do waxing and dental anatomy and drilling. But you're going to be taking a lot of didactic courses. So I didn't really appreciate first semester, but we're still like a lot more clinical based. Not many people, I think we're the only one of few that starts drilling and doing hand skills from the first week. Mm-hmm. Second semester is also didactic heavy, so my day also start early. You have a lot of classes. All classes are recorded, both first semester and second semester, so you can watch it multiple times. You know what I mean? I usually have a rule. I watch it twice for a B, I watch it 3 times for an A, and 4 times for 100. And sometimes I did watch lectures 4 times.
Okay.
Because, like you didn't do as well on the first exam, and now you have to
do the work on the back end, definitely.
So having these resources is tremendous. I think a lot of dental schools, if not most of them, have their lectures recorded. And third semester, we have an early fall semester, actually. I forgot to mention these. So like in the summer, we have early fall. Mm-hmm. And that one is when you start – in second semester dental school, we start working each other, taking impressions and like perioprobing and like doing like pocket lengths and stuff and working on each other. And then early fall, you're going to be doing more perio. So you're going to do cleanings on each other and more work with each other and a few didactic courses. Early fall usually is chill. That's when I fast Ramadan too. So like I'm fasting for a whole month in the summer. And I still did fine in dental school.
Amen.
Yeah.
Salutes.
And then D2 year, it's huge like no more, like there's didactic courses, but it's so much lab work, and it's hard work. It's chronic. Like that's what I call it. It's like it's chronically dentistry because you're doing the same thing over and over again. But I loved it. I love you start doing dentures, you're crown prepping, like you're spending so much time in lab, and the facilities are unbelievable. Like I would live in that lab. I don't care. Like for me,
right?
Yeah, like for me, it was the big, like not an issue, but I don't like studying as much. I study a lot. I'm a very good student, but I'd rather crown prep. I'd rather like crown prep a 30 for 700 times than study for pathology. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And then second semester right now, it continues being more lab heavy. But second semester, second year, we start seeing our patients. So I already did my cleaning on my first patient. And that was, and you've done these procedures so much that it literally did not feel foreign. Like, my patient was falling asleep in my hand as I was giving him a cleaning, a prophy. And I was like, wait, I'm pretty good at this. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was a matter that you've done this on students. You've injected each other. You've done all these things on each other because as I said, they prep it. Like you're going to prep on an oval shape or whatever from first semester. And then you do composite second semester, amalgam and crown preps and things third semester. So it's nice transition to the point when you see your patient, it's ready to see patients. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And as it goes, right now we're still in second semester, second year. We take our boards actually after second year.
Okay.
Not first year. A lot of schools do it first year.
Yeah, we did it after first year.
Yeah. But now it's the integrated board. So that's going to be completely different. They are
Oh, so y'all have to take the integrated boards,
I
or
don't. I have the option to, but I will not.
but you're the last one.
We're the last class to take the integrated. I will not take the integrated boards just because, not that I'm not worried about it, but like I know people that have studied for the second and fourth year boards, and I would rather do what people have done.
Exactly. No, definitely. Definitely.
Sometimes you don't have to be the hero all the time. You know what I mean? Just do what people are doing. Sometimes it's the right answer.
I'm going to learn what works. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to continue. You know, like some people like to be the guinea pig, which is great. And, you know, I'm sure it's a great test. But like you said, I'm thankful that, you know, I was able to take one, and I'll be able to take part two and just be done.
I don't want to especially with didactics. I'm not going to be the guinea pig.
Yeah, it's not worth it because it can go it can literally go any way. You know, like you never want to be on the the worst side of things.
Especially our curriculum is still based on the old boards.
Okay.
Our next class is more based about the integrated boards, and they did change things differently. And they're very progressive here in the program. Like they're trying to remove all the thermonuclear questions, like Dr. Antonson mentions it. We have an amazing academic dean. He's like your friend. You go and talk to him about academics, and he's like, yeah. He's like, I was not like, you know, I had these issues with dental school too. So he like is always backing the students.
Yeah, okay, great. So really quickly, I want to ask, do you all do any assist that first year? I know you said you're about to start clinic up, but like, do you do anything with regards to clinic? Besides, of course, like prepping first year?
No, second semester, we start assisting. So like you will be exposed to, you'll be helping D3s and D4s and assist them in clinic. Of course, you're not expected to know much by second semester. I mean, like dentistry is mysterious. You're only going to really know dentistry after the first year. That's when he's going to talk dental. You know, you understand what mesiodistal and TOC stands for and stuff like that.
Right. It's a foreign language, but it's foreign. It really is.
Yeah. So we do like, you know, you just gotta like, you are exposed to clinic second semester through a class by Dr. Sobrai. It's called Integrated Dental Practice.
Yeah.
So you have rotations basically. Every Friday you have a different rotation. That's the way we had it. And I think the class beneath us also does.
Okay, great. And so, you know, a huge topic within like, I guess, dental school and just in health in general is mental health, right? I think that, you know, especially like as the different organizations within dental schools are really bringing attention to these things, like, you know, everything revolves around your mental health, having that work-life balance. So I want to ask you kind of, how do you manage to stay sane in this crazy situation called dental school?
Yeah. There was research that was done on this. The only way, the best way to measure how long somebody will live is their support system and the close people behind them. Like, it's not your exercise, not how much you smoke. It really is your friends. And I usually try to be kind to the people around me. I know dental students can be a pain in the butt sometimes because we're going through a lot. We're stressed. But I try to be kind to everyone around me, and I appreciate them a lot for being here, because that for me is the best way to stay sane. People love people, and I know like exercise and weight lift and stuff, but for me, I looked at it and I was like, this is just extra stress sometimes. I'd rather take a nap. You know what I mean?
Hey, so like, naps are my best friend.
Yeah, I know like people are talking about like, oh, stay active and work hard in the gym and stuff like that. If it works for you, great. But my advice, watch out for the people around you. Really appreciate your friends and be there for them, because they will be there for you. And that is the best way you will prosper in dental school. It's not your habits of how to deal with stress, like running and marathons and stuff. It really is just hanging out with your homies on Friday night, seeing your friends at lunch, you know what I mean? Sharing the good stories, those laughing moments. Like, laughter is the best medicine, but you have to genuinely like the people around you. So that's how I keep saying.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't think like we appreciate that, you know, while we're out of dental school, as far as like, I used to just relax with my friends all the time. We would talk, we'd have fun, play video games, do whatever. Once dental school started, you almost really see how much you took that, took advantage of that, you know what I mean? Or took, you know, it's really weird, man. It's like those little times now are just so valuable to me. And I'm sure you feel the same way. Yeah. It's like, for this amount of time, for this hour, this 2 hours, I don't have to do anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like
cherish them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can just like watch a movie with your friends or with a loved one or something. cherish it. That's how you survive dental school.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, because like the only reason I mentioned this because nobody mentions this.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking
They
about
don't.
exercise and yoga and
Yeah.
Pilates and stuff.
Meditation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
meditation is great. I like, the thing is, I cannot say that they don't work,
Right.
but there is research that shows that longevity of people is not based on your physical habits. It's based on your emotional health and well-being.
Yeah.
And the best support system for your emotions is your friends and family.
Definitely.
So if you have a big exam and your parents are home for the weekend and you're shooting for a better grade or somewhat of a lower grade, I will choose to see my parents. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because for example, my parents are over this weekend and we can have dinner. I will take the risk and go out with them because that for me means a lot. In dental school, they're not trying to kick you out. You know what I mean? And if you tell them that this is something that you need to do, they will listen.
They will.
So watch out for your social circle, choose the right people, and appreciate them as much as you want them to appreciate you. And realize that you are going to be a pain in the butt. So sometimes, like, just give them a break too. If they get mad at you for being annoying, sometimes just give them a break and be like, I'm sorry. I know, I get it.
Yeah.
But please, I need you. You know what I mean? Just like,
I care about you. I'm thankful for you. Please don't leave me. No?
yeah, I'm thankful to have you here. I really appreciate you. But like, I know I'm a pain in the butt. Just hold on to me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But okay, Abdullah. So we're coming towards the end of the interview. And I really just want you to give the audience, your last pieces of advice, just those golden nuggets. And not even necessarily if they're looking to come to University of Buffalo, but maybe they're just applying to dental school in general. Like, what's that one golden thing that you would tell them?
I do believe just be genuine. And even in your interview, be genuine because they will know if you're not. With your friends, be genuine because everyone around you is smart, emotionally intelligent. They will don't try to cut corners. Don't try to basically be overly competitive and we call it the gunner mentality.
Yeah.
Your friends are there and be there for them. It will come back for you in a positive way. Do the right thing. It's just like sometimes it's hard to do. Sometimes you think you're being smart by trying to cut a corner or something, but do the right thing. It will give you that peace. You're going to sleep better at night, and that's important. Sleep is important in dental school. All that back pain, all that neck pain. If you have a good pillow and a good bed and a peace of mind, it all goes away. You know what I mean? You'll sleep well. You sleep like a baby. And as I mentioned, appreciate those around you and appreciate your community. Because with outreach comes this tremendous sense of accomplishment. And we, as humans, we seek affirmation, how to affirm yourself. In order to affirm yourself is to reach out to the community, and the community will accept you and affirm you. So do those outreach programs. Help out students that need help. You know what I mean? Don't be annoying and be like, oh, let me show you the way. But no, if you find a friend that needs help, be there for them because God forbid you might be in that situation and you need someone there for you too. Definitely. So you're a human being. Remember that you're a human being and be a human being to the humans around you too. That's my, whatever you do, not just dentistry, because that will make your life better and everyone around you as well. So
good energy. That's all it takes, honestly. But thank you so much, Abdullah. It's been a great interview. I'm sure a lot of our viewers are going to want to reach out with questions. What's the best way that they can reach out to you?
Yeah. So my Instagram page, you can reach out to me. Don't be freaked out if I send you a recording. Sometimes there's no time and I try to respond to everyone. So I'll just record, if it's a long question, I'll just record it and send it to you. So Instagram page, I try my best. And then as it's growing, it's becoming harder and harder, but I will filter out important questions and I usually respond to everyone that really needs those questions. And if I don't respond on the first time, I'm not going to be annoyed that you said text again or whatever. It's dental school is busy and I really hope you appreciate that, but I'm here for you too. And I try my best to be here for you. So the Instagram would be the best outlet to reach out to me. Okay.
We'll put the link to your Instagram in the description box. But Abdullah, thank you so much. Everybody, he's obviously a great resource. He's here giving his time today. So definitely reach out if you do have questions. But of course, like he said, he's extremely busy. So if he doesn't get back to you right away, definitely do not feel offended. But on behalf of FutureDDS and all of our subscribers, we want to say thank you once again for giving us your time today and providing us insight on your school.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's really big because you're helping out those pre-dentals back when I had all these questions. And you know what you're doing, it's gonna get bigger and bigger. And I really like your energy, both of you. And so good luck. And if you ever need help, reach out to me.
Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. We'll definitely be in touch.
I got you.
Definitely, man. Everybody, if you haven't already, please hit the like button below. Also hit the subscribe and the notification bell so that you know whenever we post new content. But until next time, see y'all later.